3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? It's the Board Game Roamer bringing you Massive Darkness, the oh my god, so many minis. I've never seen this many minis in my life. Unboxing edition. Here is the boxes of goodness. So we're going to take a look at all these boxes, open them up, see what's in them, give you guys an idea of what Massive Darkness is about, and make you want to go buy it. So let's go to the table and see what we got. Alright guys, this is the first box. This is the core box. This is what you will get if you purchase this through a retailer. You will need this to play. Alright, so I've gone ahead and opened the box to save time. I've laid out the components. So there's a bunch of stuff going on here. So first thing are these cards on the bottom. These cards are guard cards. This is how you're going to get the minions from the minis to the map. Depending on the level and the scenario, that's how you'll be pulling those. You'll randomize those, shuffle them up, and that will change. Each one of these decks represent a group, a boss, and a mob, and his minions of guards. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull those, and you're going to look at the level. Now you're going to have basically 5 of the same cards. There's 5 different levels. The stats are just going to increase as you level up. Treasure is the same way. As you get treasure from loot, treasure chest, from destroying the mobs and the minions, or even roaming monsters, you're going to get that. That's what these are. Again, that has to do with your level. Here on the far, your right, I have to think. Your right is the hero cards. That's what you're going to get. That's going to be your character. Now, you saw the wall of goodness. There are a lot more main heroes that you can play. We'll get to see those as we pull the stuff out. You have your starting equipment event. So at the end of every turn, you're going to be pulling these event cards. This is what brings out roaming monsters, what potentially spawns additional minions, bosses and minions and guards. Door cards, every time you go into a room, you're going to draw a door card. It's going to tell you what's going to be in there in terms of guards, minions. And then artifacts are super powerful items that typically you only get when you do a quest or as part of a quest. You don't normally get those. You can't trade up for those. Here's the punch board with the tokens. Surprisingly, there are not a bunch of tokens here, mostly because the tokens typically are just some markers for quests, a few markers for the level of the quest that you're on as you flip those, and health. There's some staircase and pillar cards, tokens in here, but actually if you did the Kickstarter, one of the things you got is a tokens, plastic tokens pack that includes some chests and some pillars, so you actually might not have to necessarily use those. There was an optional buy that I didn't get for staircases and doors, just because I'm fine with using the punch board tokens. Over here, your class sheets. There are 5, I believe, yes, 5 different classes. The Battle Wizard, the Paladin of Fury, the Blood Moon Night Runner, the Pit Fighter Berserker, the Shadow Barbarian, and the Nightshade Ranger. So there's actually 6. That's right, there's 6. See, she's correcting me. Then we have our tiles. This is the tiles that we're going to use during the quest. We're going to lay these out. We're going to precede the board with doors, events, and such. With the boards, these are double-sided. I don't think, to me, I could be wrong. I don't have the other to compare, but these feel a little bit thicker than Zombicide Black Plague to me. Maybe it's just because they're new. Maybe it's just because I'm crazy. I don't know. I'm probably crazy for buying all this stuff is what I am. And then, of course, you have the rule book. Pretty good rule book. A nice player phase, turn summary on the back. The rule book is 55 pages with the last, page 40 up. So the last 15 pages are the quest. The rest of it's actual rules. Then we have our dice. These dice, basically you have attack dice and defense dice. The red and the yellow are the attack. Red is a better version of attack. The blue and the green are defense. Blue is a better version, green is a better version of defense. And they have some symbols that will activate abilities and whatnot on your character sheets. When I do a playthrough, I'll talk more in detail about the rules and how the BAMs and the diamonds and whatnot work, but that's how those work. So then Move this over here out of the side. Then we have the real beauty of this, all these minis. Oh my God, so many minis. 75 in the core box, all right? And that includes your 6 starting heroes, agents, and the bosses, all right? So they're not really anything, they're the kind of quality you'd expect from CMON. What I do think is really cool about these that I have not seen in previous CMON games is on the bottom they have that number, which I'm assuming, I haven't looked yet, but I'm assuming that that matches the guard card. So if there's ever a question about, well, is this a, which minion does this go to? Because honestly, some of these look like garden gnomes. Like the dwarves kind of look like garden gnomes. This looks pretty distinct, but like the dwarves, I mean, those are garden gnomes to me, right? But sometimes they're very close, and the agents and the minions and all look very similar. So that's a good way for them to keep those separated, so that you know. So I'm really excited about that. The second set over here, of course, we have our bases. There's a couple of heroes like Little Ned, and I think there's maybe 1 or 2 more that the bases are kind of not going to fit well per se, but overall the bases will work. Now you do have a duplication of colors, so depending on how many people you have, you may have really close in colors, but that's all right. But we have our typical bases. Of course, we have our pegs for it. The plastic dashboard. So, of course, started with Zombicide Black Plague, you have these plastic dashboards. This is very similar. This is your health. This is where your character card goes, your armor slot, your weapon slots. But one of the things that is cool about Master Darkness is you got basically one-shot mode on the quest, where you do the quest from start to finish, and you can level up all the way from 1 to 5, or you can do a story mode where you use this track basically as XP, and then once you fill this track up, you get 1 real XP, and then this XP down here is what you spend for your skills. So basically it's just a slower progression, and you can work through all the campaign quests, or you can do them one at a time, whichever ones you like, however you want to do it. So that's that. And then underneath this, we get our first look at the roaming monsters. So these are the roaming monsters that come in the base set. There are 5 of them. Maybe 6 of them, 5 of them. So these are the guys that come in the base set. Again, as you get the expansions, you're going to add a ton to this. I forget what the numbers are, but I want to say there's like 20 something roaming monsters when you get everything together or something like that. It's a lot more than this, which is great because it's a lot more detail. The minis are good. They're good quality. And again, they've got the numbers on the bottom just like your other ones do. So that is everything in the base set, the base box. Now, since I did the Kickstarter pledge, I got the Lightbringer pack, which is going to add a ton more survivors and a ton more of the base box minis, and we're going to take a look at that next. So let's go back to the table. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. Here's the next box. This is the Lightbringer pack. This pack is a Kickstarter exclusive box. Primarily what this pack added is it added additional roaming monsters, you can see here, including this guy who's, oh my gosh, the biggest one they made. Super scary. And I've got additional minions, right, that come with the core box and bosses. And then all of this side of this particular insert is all, again, roaming monsters and a few more survivors, especially this one survivor who's so far my favorite, the half-giant Little Ned, who ain't so little. Then it came with this little box, and it came with these tiles. Now these tiles are not the same as the core box tiles. These tiles are crystal and fire. There's the crystal side, there's the fire side. And it actually came with a small separate insert that's going to give you 6 quests. They're going to use a combination of these tiles and the core tiles to do quests. So that's a total of, between the campaign book here and these 6, that's 16 missions, quests that you get with this Kickstarter backing. Everybody got this. So that's the miniatures. Again, all these, even the big guys are labeled. And I'll take some pictures and we'll add some stuff of that up close, maybe at the end or while we're doing this. You get additional cards for your roaming monsters, right? You'll notice there are no cards for these guys, the guard cards, because like I said, these are actually all duplicates of what's in the core set. Then you got your additional heroes, there's your 3 cards there, and you get another class, which is the Bone Crusher, and that came with 3 artifact cards that are basically part of a set for Bone Crusher. And you get this cute little bag because apparently that's a thing now, everybody throws in a bag. So that's the Lightbringer pack, Kickstarter exclusive. Now, the next set of boxes we're going to do are the enemy boxes, and these are smaller boxes, significantly less stuff, but they're going to add a whole lot of neat things. A couple of these we got as part of the Kickstarter, and I'll tell you which one of those are when we come to them. The rest are ones that I picked up through the Kickstarter as add-ons. So let's take a look at the next box. We got a lot to go. Hey guys, we're back with another box. This is the Troglodyte box. Now this box and the next box I'm fixing to do, which is the Cockatrix, actually were part of the Kickstarter pledge. That was part of the stretch goals that we unlocked. So these were part of the pledge that you got. Everything after this, after the next box will be add-ons. But basically what all these enemy boxes do is they add either a number of roaming monsters, survivors, or types of minions. This particular box, this enemy box, is one of the bigger enemy boxes. It adds a roaming monster, which is this Minotaur, and then it adds some Troglodyte warriors, Troglodyte brutes, minions and bosses, and the Troglodyte agent. Again, you get, as with all of these boxes, the cards to add in for guard cards for all the 5 levels, and the lesser and greater roaming monster cards. Probably, having not opened everything yet, but the Tauren is probably one of my favorites. I mean, come on guys. Tell me Simon didn't rip off World of Warcraft, and that looks like a Tauren. I don't even call it a Blood Minotaur. I'm just going to call it a Tauren, because that's what it be, for real. Anyway, that's the Troglodyte box, so let's take a next look will be at the Cockatrix box, and we're going to add a new class. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, here's the next box. This is the Noble Warrior versus the Cockatrix. This is the second box that came with the Kickstarter. It is an enemy box that is purchasable at retail, or it will be eventually, but it came with the Kickstarter. In this box, you get 3 warriors, additional warriors, survivors. You get an additional class called the Noble Warrior, and of course you get their cards, and you get another roaming monster called the Cockatrix, basically an angry chicken, and you get the cards we come to know and love, the lesser, greater roaming cards, and of course the artifact. This is really neat. I really like the Cockatrix. That's kind of like a different model than I've seen. And again, you know, it got the numbers on the bottom, but there's enough detail on it. I mean, there's really, for plastic and non-resin, there's really a lot of detail. So you'd have a ton of fun painting this if you are a painter, which I am not. So somebody else is going to have fun painting that. But that is Noble Warriors versus the Cockatrix. So let's get to the other 6 boxes, and then we'll be done unboxing this baby. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, this is the next box. Again, this is the first add-on box we've had. Blood Moon Assassins versus the Elephant. The Elephant is the big roaming monster you get with this box. You get 3 more heroes and an additional class. This is the Blood Moon Assassin class. And the 3 heroes you get are Sylvan the Nightshade Ranger, Valerie the Blood Moon Assassin, and Victoria the Warrior Priest. This is basically the chick box for all the ladies out there. That's the Master Darkness Elephant. Now, I will say this, it's kind of funny, these boxes look huge, so what we've done is we started stacking everything over here, so you can really see how many minis are involved, because these boxes can be deceptive, but at least this way you can see. So we're just going to keep building our wall until we get to the next box, which is coming up right now. All right, guys, next box we've got is a very interesting box. It's called the Warrior Priest versus the Spearman Cyclops. In this box we get a roaming monster, and we'll let you guess which one that is. The 3 heroes, survivors, and an additional class. Now, other than the ridiculous spear on this Cyclops, It does have one other interesting component, which you'll see right here. I'm just saying, somebody's been working out. She's been hitting the gym. So that's the box. Probably, other than the rock guy, this is probably the next biggest roaming monster I think we've gotten. So that's this box. Another class in the bag, another box done, and let's go to the next box. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, here we have the next enemy box, Sorcerers versus Lord Tusk, or Lord Tuskless. If you've been following anything with the Kickstarter, you see the box. He's got some super scary fangs, and on the mini, he's got some really flat teeth. Apparently, he's not a meat eater. Apparently, he eats plants. But it's a cool mini either way. This box gives you 3 more survivors. Of course, the cards that go with the roaming monster and the survivors, and a new class called the Sorcerer, and an artifact. This was an add-on, and again, this will be available in retail at a later date. Pretty cool mini. So let's go on to, we have 3 more boxes. Now the next 3 boxes are going to be bigger. The next 3 boxes are actually going to contain roaming monsters, agents, and more bosses and minions. So let's do it. All right, guys, we're back with the next box, the Enemy Rattlings box. This box actually does not have any survivors. This is just roaming monsters and bosses and minions and agents. So in this box you get a number of things. You get 12 rattling warrior minions, you get the warrior boss, 6 rattling crossbowman minions and the boss, and then you get a rattling agent and the rattling bully, which is this guy right here. So that's what you get with this box. The other boxes are cool, like having survivors and stuff, but I think it's nice to have some boxes where you get some more just regular minions to fight in the dungeon, so that's going to be super exciting. One of the things that I did notice in this is that there's actually not, for the warriors, there's actually not a guard card level 1 or 2. They start at 3, so they're a little bit more advanced, so you don't see them till later. Also, I did notice when I was looking at the bottom of these, I thought that the bottom numbers that were on these matched the cards that have a number on the side of them, but apparently they don't. So I was in error earlier when I said that, so I'm going to go ahead and recant that statement. And I am also going to go ahead and go to the next box. All right, guys, we're back with the next box. This is the Reptosaurians. This box gives you a roaming monster. It gives you some bosses and minions and an agent. This is give you some ranged guys, some melee guys. Really good box. I really like the Reptosaurian roaming monster. He's got a lot of detail, and he's just big, which I think definitely adds to the massiveness of Massive Darkness. So that's this box. We have 1 more box, and we will be done with this unboxing. So let's see what it is. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, we're on the last box of this unboxing, unfortunately. It's very sad, and the more sad part about this is I've got to figure out exactly how to store all this. That's going to be interesting. Not only do I have to store the game, but I have to figure out where to put it in my collection, because I'm also running out of room there. Don't be addicted. Massive Darkness, enemy box, the elementals. This was one of the early things they showed us in the Kickstarter. You have 4 elementals, basically the 4 elemental air, fire, earth, wind, water, heart, if you like Captain Planet. But that's what we got. They do look like cool minis. The only, not really complaint I have, but kind of the expectation that I had was, and I think I've heard this from a lot of other people, based on the art in the Kickstarter, I expected these guys to be a little bit bigger than they actually are. I was kind of expecting, for instance, the Earth Elemental to be as big as the Rockbreaker Cyclops, or at least relatively close. But I mean, it's not going to detract from gameplay. They're still cool minis. They're still unique, and they're going to look great on the board. So definitely worth it. So that's it. That's the last box. And we're going to put the last box on our tower of goodness. And that is Massive Darkness Kickstarter edition with all the enemy boxes. And we're going to get this baby unpacked and get this baby put together, and we will do a playthrough soon for you guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. This is a Board Game Roamer. Thanks for watching. Remember to play more games. Go get your game on, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.